Hi guys, Joy here. I'm saying hello from this beautiful Ocean View Cafe. Let me show you guys how a minimalist cooks in her everyday to day life. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey everyone, today I'll show you how I cook a sort of a fancy homemade meal that's very filling and also somewhat healthy. But essentially all the tools that I need is just one pan, foldable knife, spoon and fork, some veggies that I want, and then tofu and some kind of protein, oil, and one of those packaged rice things. Of course, you can cook your own rice from scratch as well, and one container. And I'll show you how I cook from beginning to the end. So let's get started. So I would sort of use my pan as kind of a cutting board for cutting spam on. I don't know if it's the best thing to do, but that's exactly what I did. And I like to cook the spam first because it's a little bit oily. So some of the oil from the spam will actually get on the pan. So I wouldn't have to use as much oil because I'm trying to eat as healthy as possible. I know spam's not very healthy, but it's delicious. So that's what I'm gonna do first of all. And I'm just going to go ahead and pre-wash some of these veggies so it'll be easy for me to start cooking seamlessly. So I've turned on the heat now, as you can see. And one of the tricks that I use is that I will use these eating utensils, spoon and fork, as sort of a cooking utensil as well, because I don't really have other cooking gear, tools for that. So yeah, just arranging my spam, waiting for them to cook. I am going to add a little bit of oil, but first I'm gonna let the oil from spam sort of ooze out into the pan and see how much extra oil that I'm gonna need. While spam is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the tofu. I don't have my camera stand, so I'm holding camera with one hand and cutting it with the other. I don't know, we make do. I did give my knife a quick rinse off after cutting the spam, of course. But yeah, I'll cut them just right away in the container like this, and then I'll just put them back in there once the spam's pretty much cooked. Because one of the tricks I'm sure everybody knows in cooking is whichever takes longest to cook, you start that first. And then you can add things on top of that. I generally do like to have a little bit of crunch in my vegetables. That's why I'm not gonna add the veggies too soon. So the order of how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna cook the spam, I'm gonna put in the tofu, I'm gonna put in those greens because I guess I want them a little bit softer, and then I'm gonna add the bean sprouts, and I like my bean sprouts a little bit crunchy. Sometimes not as crunchy, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. And you can kind of hear the spam cooking. And then what I'll do is I'll flip them over whenever they're nice and cooked. And with this pan, it does cook a little bit faster. If I see things starting to stick, that's when I'm going to add oil, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Just flipping my spam. Nothing much to see. I am by no means an official cook, so if you're a cook watching my channel, I am sorry. But I never claimed to be a cook, so that's my saving grace. I'm going to start adding my tofu because I would like my tofu to have a little bit of a firm chew, and I think the more they're cooked, the more firm they can get. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Another random info I'm sure people who cook often already knows, but when oil and water do not mix, and since tofu is so watery, whenever I add tofu, sometimes the oil might pop and you might get a burn, so be careful and be on the lookout for that. Be careful. Oh, see, now it's getting nice and yellowish. So I'm just gonna flip over my spam. I'm gonna let the tofus get a nice sear, so to speak, on one side. But yeah, I'm going to flip my spam because I do not want to eat undercooked spam. That is something that I do not recommend to anyone. And another thing is, if you might have noticed that the container for spam is gone, so I actually put them away in my fridge. And also I have put away the original packaging that the veggies were in because I'm not cooking all of them at once tonight. So the rest I put away in the fridge. And once I hear the nice sear, I'm going to flip my tofu. Let me show you on the other side. Let's see if this is cooked. You see it's got that yellow hue? I think you can get that when you cook with oil. Yeah. So this is like a protein phase of my diet. I generally like to eat lots of vegetables if possible, and also add some protein because I do like to work out quite a bit, especially nowadays. So I have already made my decision that I'm a fit, healthy person and that I like to work out and I will become fit and that will be my lifestyle. I already made that decision, and that single decision of deciding that I am active and I'm not going to ask for other people's approval to be an active person or prove myself to others, except in my own actions, is when I started working out quite a bit. So nowadays, I work out a lot and I consume a lot of calories, and I feel quite healthy and have a lot more energy, and that's really added positivity in my life, so that's great. I'm going to add these veggies. I'm actually going to cut them up a little bit, so let me pause the video. Now guys, by no means is this video a cooking tutorial, because I'm trying to film and cook at the same time. I'm losing some timing, but you see I have fished out some of the spam before they overcook too much. And I'm fishing out my tofu before they burn. And you can see I am cooking those veggies. What are these called? Bok choys? I don't even know what they're called in English anymore. I used to know. But yeah, see? Languages, if you don't use it, you could lose it. Well, who cares? But yeah, I'm cooking these veggies and I'm going to add the bean sprouts right now. I did wash the bean sprouts. I washed them in their original case actually, so that way I don't even have to buy a bunch of containers every time I'm trying to cook. I don't have to store everything. Let me just cook the veggies and transfer them into this flat container, which is quite handy. And then I'll get back to you when I start cooking the rice. Quick update, I added some water in there. I removed the cover on the rice packet over there, and I put all my veggies in the little container, and I washed them, put away the knife. You know, I'm sure many minimalists talk about that, but it's always good to clean as you go when you cook. I don't always do it, obviously, but today I did it as a good example. And I'm going to just go ahead and transfer that rice in there using this spoon. As you can see, I have put the rice in the pan. I'm going to flatten them out a little bit so they cook evenly. These things cook pretty fast if you add water because they're somewhat pre-cooked. And I'm going to put the rice right back into the original container so I don't even have to buy a rice bowl. That's another convenient thing about this thing. Yes, I do get plastic trash, and yes, I do feel guilty sometimes, but you know, one of the things that I really can't afford is spending a lot of time on house chores. Because, you know, I like to use my time in doing other things like working on my degree or working on my business or other future plans and improving myself. Because, you know, I have different priorities. But if you're someone who can cook quite a lot, of course, this is by no means a how-to or a good example of what to do. But if you're trying to save time and you're just curious how I cook and eat at home when I cook, because I don't always cook at home, this is what I would do. I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little bit of water. I'm going to use this container to add a little bit of water here so the rice doesn't burn and it cooks nicely. Just like that. Super convenient, right? And once it's cooked thoroughly, I'm going to go ahead and put it back into the plastic container like I said. I did not wash my pan after cooking the veggies in there, and there was a little bit of oil. I just added water directly on it, which doesn't really cause me that much trouble that way. So I think it's almost done, and I will show you how I set up my table right away. So give me 1 second. So there you have it. It's a super easy way to cook a very simple and pretty healthy-ish meal. Another thing that I want to show is I love spicy food and I love chili sauce, and it can get quite boring cooking at home and eating at home. I think at one point I actually tried to eat the same thing almost every day for a month, which I was somewhat successful. But one of the things that I realized is I do get bored, but I always love spices. So I have 3 different spices. So any given day, I know I can choose any of these 3. So yeah, that's kind of the way I keep things exciting if I cook more at home, which is exactly what I'm going to do from now on, because I realize ordering delivery food is something that is not very good for my health or my finance. So I'm going to try and cook more at home. So I just want to bring you guys along with the journey again. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but I'm always making an effort, and this is going to be an area that I focus on from now on. And I'm done being preachy, and I'm going to go ahead and dig into my food. Thank you so much for watching as always. Let's go to the outro. Hey guys, so that was my minimalist cooking video for the week. I know it's different. I hope you guys like it. Let me see how this video does. And if you do like it, I can create more content like that. But I just want to share this beautiful view with you guys. So for this week, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Stay tuned for next week's video. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, sunset, early morning, wherever you're in the world. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!